Inside Story Uganda, real source of political updates.
With new vibe to restore the integrity and sanity of Parliament. What is at stake as an outsider in the hitherto NRM-dominated race now comes in with some bit of pull and shake in one way or the other. We'll also be looking at the EU stance on Uganda's recently held elections, where they discounted Uganda's record on human rights and also castigated the country on a number of abuses, including arrests. Welcome to the front line, and I invite you to be part of the discussion tonight. There is already a question trending on all our social media platforms. Joining me tonight is Honorable Henry Banyizachi, Honorable Baryomunsi, apologies. Honorable Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, Minister of Information and National Guidance. The man in the spotlight, Honorable Norbert Mao, President of the Democratic Party and Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Honorable Jack Sabiti, a senior politician from the Forum for Democratic Change, together with Honorable Akol, the leader of the Acholi Parliamentary Caucus. To have you all, and a very good evening. I'll start with you. I find it quite weird that when your own comes out to express his bid, his interest in the top seat, you denounce him and instead choose to openly support Honorable Anita Among. Isn't this bill of your own?
That is a very dangerous statement, because I like my elder brother, Norbert Mao. We worked with him for a long time. Actually, we call ourselves Olokewa Ogirere. That came in 2014 when we were in the by-election of Amuro, woman MP. You see, I like his statement. He said, you should not support somebody because you speak the same language. And my support for Right Honorable Anita Among started way back before he came up with the intention to be the Speaker of the Republic of Uganda in the Parliament of Uganda. So there is no way you should say that it should be according to tribes. If we make it a tribal competition, then it loses the meaning.
It's not necessarily tribal,
it loses the meaning.
Mao is your brother. That
is true. The question should be, why are you not supporting Mao but supporting Anita Among? Okay. That should be the question.
You've said the question yourself.
First of all, when you see Norbert Mao here, he has never told me he's standing. He has never called me to tell me he's a candidate for speakership. I just saw it 24th, that is declaring officially. And when he was declaring, mind you, at the background, DP. So Yellow was not welcome in that forum, possible, I don't know. But I think when you are a speaker, the declaration should have taken place in a neutral ground so that you give opportunity for UPC, for FDC, for NRM, and any other person to come up and also be your supporter. But at the end of the day, if the background is DP, the ties around is DP, everybody's DP, then how do you expect me to be part of it? I am NRM. You know, I joined NRM in the 15th of February 2025.
Yeah, but you appreciate his marriage, his partnership with the NRM.
That is okay, and I think I'm one of the passion. At the time when he signed MOU, and you know, our people of northern Uganda, especially actually, after the war, they were actually not having trust on the government. At the time when they were abusing him for the MOU and all that, I came up. I went to Mega FM, talked to the people and said, please, Norbert now has done everything under the earth, right from the university, right from being member of parliament, and then in this party, and also standing as, you know, the president of the Republic of Uganda. If he has made a decision, it is his rights. You cannot abuse him for it. And from that point, I saw people started respecting the decision. To date, he's now the MP-elect. He knows. When I met him when he was going to stand, I told him, my brother, you are my elder brother, but the curriculum must change. Not the way you used to campaign. So you first have to know that it's now the new curriculum and you should adapt to the new system of campaigning. And he listened to me, and I'm happy he's been elected.
Okay.
I have no grudge with him.
To what extent is his candidature bringing confusion to Acholi?
It is to a large extent. But I like his own words. He said, supporting somebody because of speaking the same language and coming from the same tribe, and that being the only reason, is being primitive. I would say, in Acholi, there is still the fever of the death of Jacob Olanya. And I would request my brother, Norbert Mao, to desist from talking about Jacob now. He has gone, he served the Parliament of Uganda. Don't keep reminding the family, don't keep reminding the Acholi, don't keep reminding Ugandans all the time about Jacob Olanya, Jacob Olanya. Let him rest in peace. And then we look at a better way of making the country better, better than what we have found. And that's the most important thing. So the people still are, people who have been from the war, and then we lost key people in Acholi sub-region. You remember General Lukech, you remember the late Colonel Ochora, you remember Jacob Olanya, and that is still in people.
I thought it would be exciting to get your own bidding for a third office in the land.
Can I tell you one funny thing? When Jacob died, I led a team of members of parliament from West Nile, Acholi and Lao. We went to State House. When we went to State House, the people were insisting, since Jacob comes from our area, we want to make sure that at least the replacements would come from our region. And the decision of the SEC was simple, that we should not set a precedent in the country that if somebody big in government dies, so you replace with somebody from the same tribe as if it's the monarch. It is not right at all. And that was the report that we got from the President of the Republic of Uganda. This is a decision taken by SEC. So we should not be taking this as a tribal, competition. Is
Mao riding on the name of Olanya?
That's why I'm advising my elder brother. That must stop.
Why do you bring that in?
Don't wake up the pain in the family. Don't wake up the pain that the Acholi as a community had. Don't wake up the pain that Ugandans had about the death of the speaker. That's not right. He is gone. Let's respect what he has done. And then we start from where he stopped. The way Parliament is running now, it's okay. Let's move forward. Where there are gaps, we work to make sure they are corrected.
Honorable Mao, the current picture I pick is that you're being denounced at home and away. Even your vice president of the Democratic Party, Honorable Mvide, came out publicly to support Right Honorable Anita Among. And he said, you have not yet taken this decision to the party to process it. How much of a blow is this to you?
You are now reasoning like Obote, who said because President Museveni lost election in Mbarara North, therefore he was not fit to lead Uganda. That's very narrow thinking. The speaker is the speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, not Lukiko of Acholi. So I am a Democrat. You want to complain on my behalf. The Honorable Anthony Akola has not received a call from me complaining. I met him one time and we talked about other things. I don't believe in people having this sense of entitlement that because somebody is from your tribe, therefore they are obliged to support you. When I'm sworn in as speaker, they will come here and acknowledge that they wish they had been wiser, because that is what is going to happen. It always happened, like it happened between Joseph and his brothers. So I don't take it as denouncing me. They stood up and expressed their preference. And actually MPs are more than those who have recorded videos. And I think you are being very unfair to me and also to yourself by only amplifying those who have recorded videos.
Who is with you?
I don't think we are supposed to campaign even. You have heard I've said it is illegal to campaign. And one of the most important things we need to emphasize is that a Speaker of Parliament must respect rules. You cannot campaign. When you have videos that are uniform, this is the behavior which turned the SEC elections into life and death. You know, SEC elections used to take place. We have a former SEC member here. Did you campaign the way you used to campaign? So you are having something happening in the body politic of Uganda, which is fouling the waters. We used to have SEC elections. We would hear that there has been SEC elections. There wasn't money being poured around. Then all of a sudden, SEC elections become a matter of life and death. We have had elections of speaker without all this kind of hullabaloo. Then all of a sudden, you have uniform videos. It is like a kind of parade. I think we have got to take a stand and say, this is not the way to go. Now, concerning the Vice President of the Democratic Party, that is another matter, because you have to analyze what he said. Number one, he said that we don't have the numbers, so it is futile for me to contest. He served in Iyala for 2 terms, and I was his key campaigner. And DP has never had the numbers to elect anybody to go to Iyala. So how did he win? He was able to win in spite of DP not having numbers. Why wouldn't that logic apply in an election for speaker? Because there are conversations that can influence the outcome of that election. Secondly, he said that my decision needed the endorsement of a party organ.
Yes.
He endorsed the incumbent speaker. Was that endorsement debated in the DP national organ? The whole thing is not logical at all. So
then this suggests to you that you're plunging even the DP into a big crisis?
No, I think when a leader in a party has taken a stand, we should respect that stand. So there is no need to go on a fishing expedition to explain why you have taken a stand. Simply say, I support so and so, full stop. Because he does not need to apologize to me for not supporting my candidate.
You carry with you the flag of DP.
In the speaker's contest is not a flag thing. The whole idea is being misrepresented. And I beg you people in the media to help Ugandans. There is no form that is stamped by any Secretary General of any party that you file. Even the candidates don't talk in Parliament. The rules say the proposer of a candidate for speaker will speak briefly about the qualifications of the candidate. So, and that is the way it should be. All this drama is being brought about because there is a false sense of entitlement.
Yeah, but I think even your declaration was dramatic in itself. How do you go to the podium of the political party, declare your candidature, when your vice president and others are in the dark about it?
Nobody could be said to be in the dark. But anyway, that is not an issue.
It is.
I have won elections against all odds before because the electorate sits in the parliament. And I think you must know your target group. I think the valid question you should say is, what is it that is influencing the decisions? You have got to know that there is the power of incumbency. The power of incumbency comes with money, it comes with privileges, it comes with influence, and some members of parliament may even be afraid that, if you're on the wrong side of the incumbent, maybe you'll be targeted, you'll be punished. But there is a risk. Anybody who wants to change society must pay a price. And if you are not willing to pay that price, you stay cowering in your corner, being in a choir and singing a chorus. That is okay also.
Do you imagine this contest is starting off with a lot of foul play when you start talking about the uniform videos that are doing rounds and the manipulation, the maneuvers that are happening?
I don't blame anybody who does that, because I heard the incumbent saying that Mao is not a threat. Now, if Mao is not a threat, then why all these tectonic movements going on around? Because it must be due to response. But let me put it plainly. I am from the Democratic Party, which has a cooperation agreement with the NRM, and we expect that my candidature will also be put on the short list of the NRM, because the NRM now should count me as a person who can also be deployed.
No, but your cooperation agreement is set to expire. It was for the 11th term.
That is a matter for the two principals. First of all, you don't know what is going on.
No, but what is in ink indicates that it is for the 11th term.
Let me just educate you that what is going to happen, not based on your opinion. It is based on the agreement, and the agreement is a living document. First of all, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I don't think your argument should be leaning on the expiry date of the cooperation agreement. The cooperation agreement has the letter, it has the document, but it also has the spirit of that unity. I want you to take this very seriously. If LC1 have been carrying on their offices without elections, do you think an agreement as important as ours will not be discussed? The term of office of this parliament does not end until the new MPs are sworn in. And have they been sworn in? So let's not speculate. But the real point is that I have offered myself, and I'm inviting the National Resistance Movement to put me on the short list, like they have been putting other DP candidates on their short list. That's how we have been having people elected to IALA. So those who are talking about precedent should also talk about this precedent.
Thank you. Honorable Chris Varyomusi, how complex is Mao's declaration for the speakership leaning on NRM's support at a time when it appears like NRM has already ring-fenced the two positions of the Speaker and Deputy Speaker?
Thank you very much, Simon. First of all, let's start with the Constitution. The Constitution says the members of Parliament will elect one of their own to become a Speaker. So all of us who have been elected to serve in the Electoral Parliament are eligible.
Right.
Nobody should claim I am going to be the Speaker. Even me, I can offer myself and campaign and look for the vote. So Honorable Norbert Mao, having been elected, is eligible to offer himself as a Speaker until the members of Parliament who vote. only that we have a multi-party parliament, and definitely what is real is that NRM enjoys the majority, and usually the way we have always done it, we mobilize politically the membership of NRM, so that when there are other candidates who come from the opposition, then they face our candidate. But definitely the Honorable Mao is in a different situation, in the sense that his party has an agreement with NRM. So he's not completely an opposition candidate the way it has been.
He's neither opposition nor NRM.
No, he's a DP, but with the working agreement with NRM. So I was the first person to make a comment when the social media said NRM SEC had endorsed the speaker and the deputy. I said, why? The election cycle is not yet complete for the members of parliament. We are not yet even gazetted. Why the hurry? Why do you want to lock me out if I have the ambition to offer myself and I'm NRM? And I'm happy that I think my fears have been addressed, that even other members have come up, because we have rules of procedure as a party. And what is expected is that the Electoral Commission of NRM will issue an expression of interest within the party, so that if there are NRM MPs that are interested in vying for that position of speaker and deputy, can put in their application, and then it is processed, it will find its way in SEC, and SEC can look at all the members who have interest and vet them. SEC can say, because of reason ABC, let's maintain the incumbents, or it can say, let's subject these ones to an election in the caucus.
But do you see Mao causing a shift?
I am coming to
departure,
that.
yes.
I am coming to that. So, the Central Executive Committee should give a chance now to the members who have that intention. And then we'll evaluate those who have applied and make a decision, a recommendation, which comes to the caucus. And then at that level, we can look at the decision, the recommendation of SEC. If it is to elect within the caucus, we do elect. If they have recommended maybe the incumbents, we will also discuss them and we audit them, because they have been our speakers. This issue of saying automatically you get another term is subject to our review as members of parliament. If they have not performed, we can say no, because I also want a good speaker. So I think in the case of Honorable Mao, he may need to engage NRM, negotiate with NRM to see whether they can allow him to be on the short list. Because definitely NRM has the majority. And if it has taken a decision to back a candidate, that candidate will win. So at his level, I think he has more to engage the members of NRM, the leadership and membership of NRM.
What would it take to persuade the NRM, the leadership and the membership, to embrace Mao, who for now seems to be an outlier?
Well, first of all, he's a party president. And he has his counterpart, a party president for NRM. So he should engage the chairman of NRM, the leadership of NRM, as he mobilizes members. I don't think he will be able, if NRM has taken a decision on the candidate, that he can mobilize the members of NRM to be defiant and defy the party and vote him. It can be a bit difficult. So he has to do a lot of footwork to convince NRM to take him as one of our own.
For now, do you find his candidature tenable?
Yes. First of all, like I've said, he's eligible. And
but he doesn't have the numbers yet.
No, it's members of parliament who vote, by the way. The parties can mobilize.
No, there can be. It is always by consensus from the party.
It depends on his mobilization skills. What if he mobilizes the members in his own way and they find him more suitable? I'm saying the quickest route for him to be sure that he will win is to persuade NRM, given the agreement he has with NRM, to consider him as one of our own.
Several of your colleagues have come out publicly to declare their support for Honorable Anita Among. Can you pronounce yourself as well?
No, I am not that caliber. I am not that caliber of those MPs who just see. Let me read for you the rules of procedure of Parliament. The Rule 5 says the Speaker shall be elected by the members from among their number. Not even the parties which, parties mobilize their members, but ultimately it is the individual members who cast a vote. But rule number 5.3 says a person who publicly campaigns or causes campaigns through his or her agent in a manner which is in breach of Rule 91, I think Rule 91 is about code of conduct, shall be subject to the code of conduct for members. So even those members who are giving those declarations is actually breaching this provision of the law. So I am not one of the members who just goes, they record me, I support so and so. I will definitely vote.
You should be. But you should stand to be counted. Where we are now,
yes,
it is a matter of who you support.
No, by the way, I've been in Parliament for some years. And the Commonwealth practice is that a speaker is dragged to the chair. Yes, speakers are dragged to the chair. They should not campaign like Honorable Mao is saying. Campaigning actually is in the breach of the rules. And in the 11th Parliament where I am, a strange behavior came and the departure from how we have been doing the speakership election. We saw a lot of money coming in, which some of us detest. A lot of campaigning. I have ever gone for an election in the Parliament for position of a commissioner. And I was voted by Parliament without spending even 1 shilling. The only expenditure that I incurred was a small brochure which I printed, giving my CV and my profile. But now the culture of money has come in, a lot of campaigning, which is a big departure from how it has been. And I think we have to restore dignity and decorum Parliament and do it the way we used to do it. Those days when we elected the Right Honorable Second, nothing like money, nothing like campaigning. Consensus would emerge that the Honorable Second, South is interested, and so forth, and then we would vote quietly without this hurabaro of recording myself to say I support so and so. I cannot do it.
Is a call out of order?
Well, he is. he is. And there are many allegations being made how those persons are procured. I don't want to go into it. So I think we need sanity.
I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance to rebut.
In the Parliament, this campaigning and so forth, I think there should be toning down so that it's done. Traditionally, how speakers are elected, not this hurabaro which is there.
Honorable Sabiti, senior as you are, you've been through the election of speakers. What do you make of...
And he was in the bush.
What do you make of the sensation that surrounds this new declaration by Mao and other MPs coming out to openly declare who they support?
You see,
6 candidates. Who are the others?
There is the woman named P. Masindi. She has declared.
There's Wanyoto. There's
Arion, and
there's Odria and
Namuganza.
Well, submit to you on the floor.
yeah, thanks. It appears we have moved away from what traditionally we look at the role of Parliament. Yes, we have different parties in Parliament, but when we are looking for a speaker, we are looking for a person who will be neutral who look at the constitution of the country, look at the values of society, look at what really the people of Uganda want. And the years I was in Parliament, choosing a speaker was not hinged on parties, whether the majority party or whatever. Let me first finish. But when now I see people looking at a speaker who maybe is in this direction or that direction, or his interest is this, or he's more to this side, then this coming parliament is in trouble. A speaker is supposed to be neutral. He's supposed to listen to all shades of opinion. The speaker is supposed to follow the rules and regulations, the constitution. And to me, whether you are in opposition, or you are independent, or you are in the movement, you qualify. You qualify to be a member, you're a speaker.
A candidate.
I mean, a candidate.
Yes.
Sorry, to be a candidate. Now, when we start this culture of it is our person, then you are dividing Parliament. And any speaker who takes up that position, recognizing that he belongs to one faction or belongs to whatever, then he will fail in his duty as a speaker. He may even have a revolt. Yes, there can be half or a quarter of members of Parliament who can give him hard. So we expect our speakers to be gentlemen and ladies.
That is the idea.
That's the idea.
But
you see the way in Uganda we have tried to play politics. You have messed us up, some of you, right? You are just looking at an individual, we are looking at Uganda as a country. We're not looking at that person who's going to be there. Yes, that person must be the person who will respect the rules, who will follow the constitution, who will serve the people of Uganda. Respect that candidate who is in opposition, right? Respect that person who is independent, and listen to him, understand his views, and his views can influence, the entire Parliament to follow what he's saying.
Under the circumstances, how would you look at Mao's candidature?
I know Mao very well. I've been with him in Parliament, I think twice. He's a good man, right? He's a good man. I have known the other lady who is also
Anita
Mong. She was my deputy Treasurer General, third Deputy Treasurer General in FDC. So I know them both very well, by the way. So my interest would be that let's not politicize this office.
It is inevitably political.
No, it's you, the people who are not looking at the country. You see, you are becoming so narrow in your approach to how to mold people, to bring people together. Members of Parliament can take decisions by looking at the country, not at movement, FDC, UPC, or whatever. We are interested in that person who can make this Parliament make the right laws, take good decisions on the use of the finances of this country, but not just because he's FDC, his movement is whatever. And therefore, I would request you not to disorganize this Parliament. Allow whoever wants to stand stand. Don't start looking at him. He was in DP, he was in UPC, he was in whatever.
Yeah, but
We are interested in a
seems to be
person.
creating a precedent. Traditionally, this speakership has been a preserve of the NRM. Can there be a break from the tradition?
Why not? Why not? Because at first we were in the movement system, right? Later, multi-party system came in. But most of the people we had as speakers, I think they were generally accommodative people, people who could see what is right or
But with
wrong.
a political inclination towards the NRM.
Not necessarily. The right things. We are not looking at inclination. A party can come up with an idea. If the movement comes up with an idea, which is good, and even opposition can support that idea. You see, we have politicized, this parliament to the extent that it can even cause a crisis, unnecessary crisis. Mao and Intamong, I would look at them in this way. Who has that capacity to lead? Right? He's DP, but allied to movement. Which means now both of them actually are in the movement. Because they are now looking at...
Mao is in DP.
He's in DP, but he has made agreement with the movement and whatever, right? Even if it was another party like FDC or another, and we candidate be a speaker, and that speaker can do a good job for that parliament and the country, why not?
Well, as we take a break, Honorable Cole, do you acknowledge the shabbiness of your video? For the viewers, I would love to play it loud for you.
No problem.
That you're going against the procedures to campaign for an individual. Would like to have the video.
Anthony Akol is my name, Member of Parliament for Kilak North in Amuru District, Northern Uganda, and also the Chairman of Acholi Parliamentary Group. I happened to join Parliament of Uganda in 2016. That ideally means I spend my time in 10th Parliament, 11th Parliament, and by the grace of God, I've gotten the opportunity that I'm elected in my community back to the 12th Parliament. I must tell you, I've seen the administration of Parliament under different speakers. I was under the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, I was under Jacob Olanya, and also I have been under Right Honorable Anita Annette Among. I must tell you, in my experience and how the Parliament of Uganda has been managed, we are blessed to have an institution with the head passion of Right Honorable Anita Annette Among. My plea to the people, especially Ugandans, and the people who are blessed to have been elected in the 12th Parliament, is that we must maintain the Right Honorable Speaker, Anita Annette Among, to be our Speaker in the 12th Parliament. We will be able to do much more. I saw how she started and how she progressed and how she has become more experienced now. And I think the 12th Parliament will be better than what it was before. And therefore, we must focus our mind on the 12th Parliament with...
Is that you?
Exactly. And I must tell you...
Do you see how irregular...
I must tell you first and foremost, you see, what these people are talking about is the ideal. I joined Parliament in Uganda in 2016. To date, and even the next election, there is people expressing support for a speaker. And if I have told you that for me...
But it's irregular.
I am a voter.
No, you agree it is irregular, right?
No, please. I am giving you facts. For you, you are talking about theories. But in practice, what happens when the speaker is going to be elected? People express their support.
Okay.
And
what is prompting these uniformed videos? Who is behind them? What is motivating you?
I don't think that is right. Because people are saying there is uniform video, but they are not uniform. When you see what is stated from a team from maybe Toro, is different from what is stated from me, is different from somebody else. There are people who have been recording themselves from somewhere else. Maybe they are motivated by the fact that there are many people supporting Anita Annette Among, Right Honorable.
Okay, can I play for you the video from MPs from Toro?
No problem.
Okay, we'll have it. My producer will be bringing it out later.
Our speaker has been a role. We as members of parliament and MP elects from Toro region, we are here to thank God for our speaker. Our speaker has been a role model. She has been all over the country, especially to our region, Toro, campaigning for us, supporting Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, supporting NRM, and she has been a leader for all of us. We appreciate her, and we are here now to endorse her as a region from Toro.
Speaker Oye.
Speaker Oye.
Anita Oye. Tayewa Oye.
Honorable Cole.
The whole thing is...
Is there a bit of despair?
Nobody is invited. The only advantage we have is that the speaker has been moving all over the country during the campaign.
But the choreographer is telling.
So she was campaigning. She was campaigning to too many people who won the elections and they're in parliament. They're parliament elect. So they are the people calling. I have been getting a lot of calls. People want to meet the speaker.
Is there a bit of anxiety that is growing, that is prompting all these videos and the kind of lobbying?
It is the love for the speaker because of what she has offered the country and because of how she was campaigning for the flag bearers of the NRM. And that is why I am saying she is not the one calling the people to come and record, but people are looking for her. People are looking for me. Can you help me? I also want to meet the speaker. I have support for her.
What are the chances that very soon you'll make a U-turn to support Honorable Mao, who hails from your constituency? Kilak is his ancestral home. That's the irony.
No, but Mao ideally should have been my voter, but now he's in Laropeje. I told you before that this is not about my tribe or somebody who comes from my constituency. If anything, even Norbert Mao knows that she's been working very well with the speaker, and the speaker has been very accommodating to everybody. And I tell you, for the record, the kind of relationship that you have with the speaker, I mean, she is somebody that would embrace everybody. And that is the kind of love that people have for her. And that's why people come up to say, I support Right Honorable Anita Annette Among.
Okay.
It is not her calling people to come and record.
Is your decision sealed? Is there a possibility that you could rethink it?
I tell you, the fact of the matter is, one, you know that Central Executive Committee has endorsed.
No.
Two,
has SEC endorsed?
The only part which is left, SEC to bring it to caucus. Two, I personally sat with my Secretary General who said we have endorsed Speaker Anita Annette Among and Thomas Taiba as our candidates. And by the way, something that we need to learn from NRM, the elections, how they manage, maybe the presidential candidates, now they've come to the speakers, it helps. Because if you look at the conflict that started in different parties, it is the elections. But if people can sit and agree and say, let these people serve for this term of office, it helps.
Your journey come lately in NRM, but I'm surprised. You know how everything works.
That is why I was very disappointed when my brother Norbert Mao started calling people former FDC. It is like when you are calling LRA who has been in the bush and they've come out. They are now with the people, and you still call them former LRA.
You find it offensive?
It's offensive
to call you a former FDC.
Then you should be calling President Museveni former DP or former UPC. Why don't you call him that same way?
Well, interesting.
that former FDC, former what? You know, you have to have respect for the voters. These people, the members of parliament, whom you're trying to say maybe they have been bought and all that, it is very, very offensive. Because, for example, I have never been given money to record myself. And all these members of parliament have not been given money.
So for the record,
and it is bad for you to spoil the names of the voters. That it is money exchanging hand. That is why people are now declaring. This is wrong. I am telling you what people are saying. That people are being, bought to record themselves and say we support this and that. No, please. Let's have respect for the voters. And these are members of parliament who have been elected by the voters. If anything, they deserve the respect.
What are the chances that you will vote Mao?
It is very narrow. Maybe if he goes back to President Yoweri Museveni in the MOU, and then the SEC approves him as a candidate for NRM, then I have no option. But for now, I know there are two candidates, that is Right Honorable Anita Annette Among, and then Thomas Taiva, who are our candidates.
Do you support the idea of ring fencing position of the Speaker and Deputy?
I have told you that I'm learning something. When you trace back the problem that started in FDC, when you trace back the conflict that DP has, when you trace the conflict that UPC has, it is about people failing to agree. And if there is a way that people can sit and agree and say, let these people push for this time, it's fine. It should not be do or die. It must be me. If it is not me, then nobody should be there. That is wrong. And we must understand this if we want ourselves to live amicably and see a better Uganda than what we have found.
Do you think there is more than meets the eye in Mao's candidature? Could it be someone fighting Anita Among, fronting Mao?
I don't want to talk on something that I don't have the experience.
No, we are not speculating.
I don't have any information, but I know my elder brother, Norbert Mao. I can still recall when I was at the university. He told us a story where there was an evening where they went to dance, and there was a very beautiful girl that he was admiring. And then he was diminishing himself, being short and was fearing the girl. Then there was a person who was more ugly than him who went with the girl. And he said, since that time, he will follow his heart. I tell you one funny thing. There was a time when Norbert Mao was very sick. I went to see him at his home. The confidence in him, when he was telling us, I am going to fight this disease until I become the president of Uganda. And that is a Norbert Mao you have. So if he has decided on something, that is him. You can't stop him. But as per now, I have told you, I am supporting.
How much should the country read into the intentions of Honorable Mao as he intends to dislodge your speaker?
There was a time we went to Mbale. And when we were in Mbale, we went out in the evening, just, 2013. On our way back, a person cried with our local language, Mahato, that my mother, I'm dead. In the culture, actually, when your brother cries like that, you start fighting. We joined the fighting until when the fight ended, we started asking, why were you people fighting? To find out this was a thief. Up to now, I don't know why he's standing. I'm actually listening to him explaining that he wants to balance the boat. That's what he believes. But for us, who have been in Parliament, in the 10th Parliament, 11th Parliament, and up to now, we know Parliament is moving well. There is no much problem.
Well, I would love to share some of the comments from our viewers, and I thank you very much, whoever's posted his opinion online about the race for speakership. There are just a number of comments that I'll be reading in a few, but Honorable Mao, you seem to be causing a storm within the NRM where you neither are a member nor anything I can describe. Who are you?
You know, we have like a body like AMISOM, the African mission in Somalia. All the armies wear their own uniforms, but they have got a joint command. So I'm wearing my uniform in the belief that there's something we share with NRM. So if because of one post the NRM is going to forget that there's Uganda to unite, so be it. This is a big test actually for the NRM. And I hope soon we will hear.
So it is a divisive matter, you also agree?
It is potentially divisive. It doesn't actually have to be divisive, because if the NRM stopped disowning me, because I am owned as a member of the cabinet, I go and address the UN on behalf of Uganda. Nobody has ever told me, no, you are not one of us. I go and address a meeting of international agencies. I sign treaties on behalf of Uganda government. I sit in the cabinet where all the documents are marked secret, and yet somebody is saying he should not be trusted. I think this is a very simple thing. All that we expect, I'm talking about our expectation or my expectation. I don't have a right to impose anything on the NRM. I don't. But I'm simply saying that under a provision of our agreement which says we can induce any issue, and now we want to introduce the issue of the speakership, saying can't we improve parliament if other members of the other families that are part of the extended family? Because you cannot only call extended family when you want to dig and do work. When now you are distributing the harvest, then you say, come to think of it, you are not part of the nuclear family. That will send a very wrong message to those who are thinking that it is time to build consensus. So I expect that the NRM will discuss this matter and decide whether the extended family is also family.
So you're throwing a dice to the party?
It's not a dice, because it is a matter which is important for Parliament. You have seen that the public largely is behind me. You have seen, if you go on the man on the street, as they say, if you monitor the radio stations, the general discussion is that electing Norbert Mao as a speaker would be an improvement to the parliament.
So Mao is popular outside, but unpopular inside, in parliament.
No, that you can't even say objectively. So if you have a dozen people standing and singing a chorus, now that's not the entire parliament. In any case, we still have several weeks to go before the election. The conversation is continuing. Now, what is healthy is that we are having this conversation, and we should continue having this conversation. My mind is not closed, by the way. The Honorable Akol talks as if I'm so rigid. I thought I was a fairly flexible person. I think I need to work on myself. It looks like I'm giving the impression that I'm as rigid as the character Ahab in Moby Dick. I hope I'm not that way.
Yeah, you've tested the waters, and you know how deep they are. Has it struck you yet that perhaps this is a futile attempt that I need to abandon as early as possible? Or you are unstoppable?
The reasons why you abandon something is when you feel that you can influence it and you achieve the goal without necessarily being the speaker yourself. So as matters stand now, I'm offering myself to continue the agenda. Though the Honorable Anthony Akol in with what people have been saying about my late friend Jacob Olanya, because that contrast embarrasses Ugandans, because the promise was cut short, and we have to talk about it. The other day we were celebrating St. Janani Luwum. Why don't you say, don't talk about Janani Luwum, family is still mourning, and so on. We are talking about somebody because of what promise, the inspiration they gave the country.
Yeah, but you sound quite unsavory when you say the country got an accidental speaker.
My duty is to speak the truth. And the truth is not necessarily palatable all the time. So if speaking the truth is offensive to anybody, that's really regrettable, because we must look at things in context. And I believe that's why out there people feel like Parliament needs to be fixed. And there are things to fix in Parliament. The members of Parliament themselves, if you read the Hansard, the members of Parliament themselves have been complaining about a lot of issues. Now, rather than talking about Mao, those who are in charge of Parliament should be spending time fixing those issues. Then the Mao candidature would be irrelevant. Why should my candidature be relevant if those issues were fixed?
Honorable Barrio Musi, how delicate should NRM work on the issue of Mao bidding for the speakership?
Well, Mao is not a problem, per se, and we have always handled such situations. Like he said, when we are electing members of IALA, the East African Treaty gives guidance in Article 50 that the representation in IALA should reflect the different shades of political opinion in the country. And definitely the NRM command majority. So we decide, for instance, which political parties are going to, in addition to NRM, going to represent us in the IALA, and they usually consensus building. That's why I said Mao has a choice to engage NRM. Engage NRM to see whether he can be considered among those to be looked at. And me, from the outset, I disagreed with the so-called SEC. I'm not sure whether SEC has taken a decision, because I don't have that record. Because the legal director of NRM has given a contrary opinion in the public, saying, no, the race is open, NRM members are free to vie. I have seen him say that. But be that as it may, whatever decision is brought to the caucus, we, the members of the caucus, deserve the right to discuss that decision, including auditing our speakers. And true, there are issues in the Parliament. For some of us who have been in the Parliament, tested different parliaments, there are issues to fix. And we shall raise those issues in the caucus, because ultimately, I want a good speaker. I want good leadership of Parliament.
Is there a vacancy for now? Do you think there is a vacuum of a good speaker who meets your ideas?
No, the vacancy will be there when we get sworn in. By the way, when we get sworn in, this Parliament will be dissolved, and the seats of Speaker, Deputy will be vacant.
Yeah, but you've had proclamations from the current Speaker that she'll be in for 2 terms and then hand over to Thomas Tayeb.
That's an expression of her wish. Of her wish. But ultimately, it's the members of Parliament who elect who become the Speaker. What if Thomas Tayeb chooses not to run as an MP to come back to Parliament? Will you pull him from Mitoma to come and be Parliament? So, ultimately, it is members of Parliament who elect the Speaker. Because the Speaker is our presiding officer, our chair, and the person who manages and runs Parliament.
What is there to fix about Parliament?
Oh, many. Let me give you an example. the president publicly said there is corruption in parliament. There was a public exhibition that went viral on social media. So in the eyes of the public, people see parliament that there's a lot of corruption. I would want that issue fixed because I don't want to associate with an institution where you walk around and people think you are part of that corruption. There is that tag on parliament. So we would want, for instance, the leadership of parliament to clear that one, that we are not a corrupt group in the parliament of Uganda. And I used to be a parliamentary commissioner. And I know how parliament is run. There are issues I may not raise on the television. Maybe we shall raise them internally when we are, as I said, we shall have to audit the current holders of the office. So that if we are clear them, we say we clear you, but we give you task 1, 2, 3, do this ABCD, because they must account to us.
Honorable Jacksabiti.
Yes, please.
Why should the country be trapped into this storm about who becomes the speaker? Yet it's more about members of parliament electing who they feel is competent for the job. Third office.
You see, we tend to trivialize an issue which is not for just a given sector of society. This speaker we are looking for is a speaker for the country, to work on behalf of the country. It's like when we are looking for a president. A speaker is not a simple person. She or he is there to guide, right, on laws, on policy, on finance, and many things, of course, with the help of other components of parliament. And therefore, it's not parliament only looking for a speaker. It's Uganda now looking, the people of Uganda looking for a speaker. See how their money is going to, they have the taxes they give, it's going to be used, right? See how the policies of government are going to be sorted out. Now, so let's look at Uganda, a speaker that will serve Uganda, not a speaker that will serve just a party. That's my interest as Jacksabiti. We are not interested in whether the movement is obsessed with their policies and what. Yes, and that's okay, because they are in government. But what about others?
But in your opinion, do you think there is anything in Parliament that needs to be fixed urgently about that office of the Speaker?
There are many issues. Oh yes, there are many issues. Whether issues of the past or the current issues or the issues to come.
Okay.
We are looking for the most competent person, right, to shoulder the responsibilities of that office.
Do you discount the competence of the current Speaker?
Well, I know both. My brother here, I worked with him in Parliament. I know my sister, who's now the current Speaker. So I cannot, since I'm not in Parliament now, I can't say give X and Y, right?
But if you put both on the pedestal,
I am advising that you members of Parliament don't look at your parochial thinking in terms of movement party. There are other parties. Look at the country. Who can really be in that chair and he projects the image of the party? 2, the image of government. 3, the image of all Ugandans, right? If that can be handled, whoever they choose, I know most of them. He is my friend.
but
Anita is my friend, but I
according
want
to
that person.
impeccable reports, the issue has already been resolved by the top organ of the NRM, that is SEC, that Anita Among and Tayewa be given a second term?
Yes. But if, for example, me and other people, me as a person in opposition, one, two, if there are other people in the country, other than members of parliament, who have a different thinking, I would request that the movement also to rethink. It's not just moving to say this is what our leaders in parliament have agreed on. They must also listen to people who are not in parliament.
Does the voice of the opposition in this matter, for instance, the FDC, how would the FDC come into this matter? Would you support your own Mao? Mao is the opposition.
You see, we shall talk to our MPs. Obviously, we shall, and seek their opinion and discuss. And we shall agree, maybe this is a better candidate or not a better candidate, right? And these members of parliament will go there, liaise with their colleagues, and then take decisions. That's how parliament works.
In the earlier parliaments, the stakes were different. An MP would be fronted. How do you call this? Pushed to the seat?
Dragged to the chair.
Yes, dragged to the chair. Mm-hmm. Do you worry that the election of a speaker is taking another direction now?
I expect parliament to be rational. Not think in terms of their party, not think in terms of an individual, but think of that person who has that capacity to lead parliament and the kind of, and help in the implementation, in the passing of laws and whatever.
Well, we asked our viewers this morning to share, rather this evening, to share their views, and the question was, should the speakership remain an NRM internal affair, or is it time for cross-party consensus leadership? Hakim Semwemba says, it's not really an NRM affair. Rather, it is a Museveni affair. Kennedy Mutenyu says, it is my considered opinion that since the speaker is for parliament and not a political party, the majority party must be challenged to put Uganda first. Kalinaki Arthur says, the consensus fosters national unity and checks executive power. However, given NRM's parliamentary dominance, realistic change requires internal party reform to prioritize merit and institutional independence over strict partisan loyalty. Or yet, Fred, what will likely happen is a kind of mongrel arm of government. That's the parliament, Norbert Mao bringing the mix that will spur national unity and restoring hope in the third arm of government. Respecting Life says, is it also eligible to still have a speaker with corruption allegations and sanctions? Thank you. Well, the comments continue and we'll be scrolling them on our lower third. Honorable Akol, it looks like the country is now in very awkward moments where the debate about speakership is causing all this kind of disarray. Do you think sanity can prevail?
Maybe before that, you see the allegation of corruption or complaint of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda did not start now. I was in civil society organization before I became a member of parliament. I was part of the people who are thinking that the members of parliament are misusing resources of the country, the taxpayers' money has been misused and all that. We joined together with National NGO Forum and all that. Then that time, we were told that when a member of parliament is elected, there is money for your wardrobe, there is money for what? A lot. You are paid money for your driver, paid money for your personal assistant and all that. By the grace of God, I was elected a member of parliament. To come to parliament, I realized there are things that the media publish about parliament which makes Ugandan things that Parliament is not for the people of Uganda. Whether it is Anita Mong, Right Honorable, or Jacob Olanya before, or during the period of Rebecca Kadaga, this has been the complaint of Ugandans. And this is exaggerated that Parliament is, wasting a lot of resources, not even thinking that that is another arm of government that needs to operate normally. So, when you're asking me about this debate, some people think that there's a lot of, fever or a lot of upset in Parliament. When you go to Parliament right now, it is very calm. Actually, it is outside here, in the media. The way it is painted as if there is a lot of pressure now on members of Parliament here and there, it is not there. Actually, we are on recess. Members of Parliament are not even in Parliament. You will find somebody walking in and going out and all that. So
that's why the world is surprised that at such a time, you can record a video and publish it all over the place.
Video is recorded anywhere. You are taking
the timing alone.
You are taking only this. I told you why all this is coming. It is simply because how the campaign for parliamentary went on when the Right Honorable Speaker was moving around with the president. So people got excited after being elected to at least say thank you to her, and you begin to record and say all this and that. But there's nothing like the pressure about election. Election is in May. We are going to be sworn in on 13, 14, 15. After that, then maybe the issue of election comes in.
As we take a break, Honorable Mao, how keenly have you looked at the centers of power and other factors that influence the election of the Speaker? Take, for instance, penetrating caucus, the NRM caucus, and also appealing to the powers that be who control the switch.
You campaign by talking to those who are going to vote. You talk to one to one. Because if I want somebody, for instance, to propose my name, I have to talk to that person. Then I have to get somebody to second me. Then the proposer will say something briefly. That is, Parliament is the center of power. Number two,
there is an outside center of power.
The party called NRM is a major fulcrum. Now, it has a commanding majority in the Parliament of Uganda. And you cannot become Speaker if you don't get the majority. Now, you get the majority by talking to those who can influence the majority. And the number one person is the President of Uganda. Now, the President of Uganda needs to see around corners. What would be the point of winning the speakership at all costs? Then you lose the country. Because there's no country more difficult to lead than a country that has no hope. My candidature is giving citizens a lot of hope, and that's the reason for this outpouring of support that you see out there. And even members of Parliament are getting calls from their own constituents telling them that, why are you doing what you are doing? Do you really think you are representing me? Because these members of Parliament will go back in 2031. And this may also become an issue in the elections. The members of Parliament will be asked how they conducted themselves.
You're ransoming MPs.
I'm not ransoming.
You either vote for me or they vote you out.
I'm not ransoming MPs. You know, you can win something smaller and you lose something bigger. It is called a Pyrrhic victory. And that's why, personally, I don't have any stress whatsoever. And I'm a student of history. What is at stake is a lot bigger. One of the most famous elections in the United States of America took place in I think 1850 something, I need to check. And it was an election for Senate between Abraham Lincoln and Judge Douglas. And Judge Douglas rode on some temporary popularity on the issue of slavery, and he won the election for Senate. But because he never studied the undercurrent, many people are seeing the water which is moving on the surface, but they are undercurrent. So when I talk about balancing the vote, and the Honorable Anthony Akol says, Parliament is okay, we are okay. He knows we are not okay. And
where you're seated, all is not okay.
No, that is
but
why
those who are in Parliament feel it's okay.
That is why we have issue of cattle compensation, because people are not okay. That's why we are looking at poverty indicators, because people are not okay. That's why we have ex-combatants from the LRA, because people are not okay. You have land question, people are not okay. So we can't go on like this. So why I don't think President Museveni is so short-sighted that he will spend all his last ammunition by putting an individual first. I think he will put Uganda first, because he knows there are other things to be considered after the election of the speaker. And I know a lot about what is happening behind the scenes. And even though the picture is being presented that all is well and there is no stress and so on, there is actually a lot of stress. And it is not about me. The stress is that citizens are saying, can we get back this house? And the house becomes a true voice of the people, led by someone who conducts the business and gives the members of parliament the empowerment they need. And that is why I speak of institutional power as opposed to personal power. Now, so it is okay. You may throw your spear at a squirrel, but what if the buffalo comes? What will you do?
Good question. We'll take a very short break, and when we return, Honorable Chris Bariomus will be telling us whether he looks at Mao as being very overambitious. He's just landed a juicy...
The liability remains, but the reputation suffers.
Over to you, Honorable Bariomus.
Well, first of all, are you discussing as if there are only two aspirants or only two people who have expressed interest? There are six.
For now, it looks more like a two-horse race.
Still coming.
There is the Honorable Pastor Namuganza, looking at the other screen. Honorable Lydia Wanyoto, Honorable Leon Audrey, I was reading this evening that the woman MP for Mercy India has also declared interest, and we still have many days. Maybe many more might come. But he seems to be a campaign manager of Mao.
No, he's caused a huge storm, so it's why it's turned into a topic.
It's a storm, but it's a storm in a teacup. I think, like Anthony Akol said, we are also overhyping this race, especially outside Parliament.
No, all the other contenders are NRM. What makes it a bit unique is that a stranger...
No, like I said earlier on, all members of Parliament are eligible. So even the other parties might fill the candidates eventually. So the coming up of Honorable Mao is not strange. First of all, like I said, he's eligible. He has been elected as a member of Parliament. Mao has been in the politics. He was the president in Makerere. We were staying in the Mitchell Hall together. He has been active in the politics. And every politician is ambitious. By the time you take a decision to run and go to Parliament, you're ambitious and you aim at getting higher. So there is nothing wrong with the Honorable Mao or any other member of Parliament vying. what I also dislike is for anybody to think that this position is created for me. For me. If the law allows people to vie, let them vie.
This precedent started with Kadaga. You remember when Kadaga said, I still have another term in office?
When?
When she stood against, when she was in a contest with Honorable Lanya.
Yes, and we started took a decision as SEC to endorse Honorable Jacob Olanya, and she opted to run as independent, but she was given a chance to appear. And that's the point I was making, that NRM should exercise internal democracy, give a chance to its members, listen to them before a final decision is taken. So, like I said earlier on, Honorable Norbert Mao may have to exploit his agreement with NRM to engage NRM to see whether, using the weight of that agreement, he can be considered as half yellow. You're half yellow and half green, half yellow. And then we would look at him maybe as a caucus, because in April we are going together in Chankwanzi for a retreat, and this matter is going to be discussed. And
it's a little problematic, isn't it?
Not really. But
you're discussing a half yellow.
He's half green. He's a half green, half
a pumpkin, like they used to call him.
No, not really. Without vulgarizing it, he's the President General of DP, but he has a cooperation agreement with NRM, which is recognized. So NRM
he's half yellow, half
doesn't
green.
consider him as a hostile force. That's why he sits in the cabinet, where we discuss government issues, and he's part of the government. So we wouldn't consider him as a hostile force to NRM. So you should exploit that and see how we engage.
Yeah, but Honorable Mao, if I could get back to you.
But where I find him wrong is for him now starting to braccameras that if we don't vote him, we may get problems in the constituency. No, I don't think voters in the Kanungu will really harass me. If I don't vote Honorable Mao? We shall sit as a party and agree on a candidate. If he happens to be one, then we will be supported. But he still has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, do you think there are behind-the-scene machinations that the country should be interested in? Maybe Mao could be pressing some buttons here and there.
He the one who tell us whether from here he's going to have meetings and engagements.
There's no need for any conspiracy theories. The country expects that the 12th Parliament should get the best possible speaker through a process which is clean and which unites the Parliament. This should not be seen even as a personal conflict between the candidates. I actually don't find that it is healthy for anybody to project this as a kind of personal conflict. I and the incoming speaker enjoy cordial relations at a personal level. I have known her from the time she was working in a bank in Gulu. She actually helped a lot of the businesses in Gulu to prosper when she was at the bank there. I've seen her work. So it is not a personal conflict. Now, in our...
Would you cede space for her?
When you say you cede space, that time has already passed. The time for ceding space has already passed. But it is not like if somebody is elected, then you feel like you don't need to stay alive. As long as someone has been elected according to the rules, that person will be the speaker. If I'm elected the speaker, and then I assume that seat, the Honorable Anthony Akol will definitely be the first to drag me to the chair, given his energy. I will not be able to resist. When that time comes, his energy will be the one to just lift me up and install me on that chair promptly. Now, if the person elected is the Honorable Anita Among, I'm sure he will be the same person to push his way forward and drag her with one sweep of one hand and put her on the chair.
But you seem to be bringing some bit of acrimony within the House, pitting one side that is anti-Anita Among and the other side that is Norbert Mao.
There is nobody who is doing something who is not subject to scrutiny and attacks. It is only the useless people who are never criticized. Actually, the useless people are the most peaceful. Nobody comments. You see the Honorable Yomosi here, as the Baganda says, like this knife for peeling potatoes. It is always full of...
Masand.
Yes, it is sticky because it is always active. So
Actually, like a white dog. But passes people throw stones at it.
The Baganda say the white chicken, Kokonjeru, yeyoleka kamunye. That the kamunye, the kite, sees the white chicken from far in the sky. So I don't think the fact that you are being attacked and being criticized necessarily mean that you are a bad person as such. It simply means that you are doing something and you are being subjected to scrutiny and attacks. Nobody throws stones at a tree which has no fruits.
What would it take to mend a relationship between you and the National Unity Platform, the leading opposition, with whom there is no love lost?
The beauty of political disagreements, in my case, is that the disagreements should be well defined. The disagreement I have with the National Unity Platform, I enumerated them. But they are not personal. Unfortunately, in our society, people think...
No, you launched a one-man army.
Yeah, the one-man army was intended to just shine light on who they really are. And I think the facts are eventually coming out. Because if you are a hypocrite, for instance, you saw that some of those who are criticizing me for having discussions with President Museveni and signing a cooperation agreement, eventually they followed Honorable Nsibambi to State House. And when the time for photos came, they fled. Now, how do you lead life like that? You are one thing to others, you are another thing to others. I can't manage that kind of life. I want to be who I am. So I was basically telling some members of the National Unity Platform, and you saw how it ended in tears for most of them. They moved around, started forming political parties. They crash landed. Others were proclaiming that they want democracy in the National Unity Platform. They were thrown out of the party. So those are the issues I was raising. So time is very important. And in future, we shall review the archives of NBS about this discussion. And we will be saying, did he say that? So when I'm being attacked, or if somebody annoys me, I ask myself, in 20 years, will I feel the same way I'm feeling now? And usually the answer is no. So if somebody, for instance, records a video and tells lies about me and misrepresents me, so I ask myself, in 20 years, when I'll be almost 79 years old, would I be feeling the same? And I say, surely no. So in 20 years' time, I'll forget that Honorable Akol recorded a video that did not endorse me.
I think that is wrong.
No, he would have forgotten.
First of all, I have never talked anything negative about Norbert Mao. And he has a right to stand as a speaker. A similar way myself, and even the Honorable Chris, and any other member of parliament. It is his rights. But it is also my right to support another candidate, but not you. But it is wrong for you to think that the voters should punish member of parliament not for voting you. Actually, personally, when I went to my constituency, one member, somebody came to me when I was in the garden and said, "Why are you not supporting Mao?" I said, "We have a candidate as NRM. Mao is DP." And they understood me.
So do you think Mao is blackmailing
For
you?
us, we voted NRM because you are NRM. So how can I again go and support DP? If he has the arrangement with the President Yoweri Museveni, which ends in May, according to his deputy president, I don't know what will happen in June. Actually, he should be focusing more now in renewing his MOU, other than campaigning here and telling lies that I'm going to change things in Parliament. By the way, problems will never stop. Don't tell us that when Mao comes to Parliament, then there will be no problems in Parliament.
A second. Could it be that
there is problem at your home, at my home, in any organization? There will be problems always, whether you are the speaker or not.
Could it
will
be that
there.
Mao is floating this candidature for speakership, maybe to cause attention, to renew his agreement?
I would actually agree with you, because with my experience now, I have seen Honorable Oboth. After he expressed his interest to be what? To be the speaker, he was given the cabinet ministry. I have seen Honorable Taiba, after expressing interest to be the deputy speaker, he was given government chief whip. After, you have...
So it is a bait.
By the way, let me tell you one thing. There was a time we sat in the village with Norbert Mao, and I asked him a question. I said, "But why are you wasting time to stand as the president of the Republic of Uganda at a time when I know you're not winning election?" And that time I was supporting Kizza Besigye. He told me, you need to have opportunity to sit on that table of negotiation. So this can be a strategy to make sure a discussion should take place. And by the way, he has succeeded. And I'm happy about it. He has become a topic in the country. We are talking about him now. And people are discussing him in the country.
So he's throwing a bait for big things.
That's important. And let him go ahead with that.
Well, as we get to...
But to be sincere, there is... starting a war when you know that you don't have the weapon to fight, it is not very easy.
Well, as we get to Afro Mobile...